So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Harrison Bond and Juan Martinez to you.
Thanks, Coach. As Mr. Hanneman just said, I'm Harrison Bond, and I'm a senior from Lakeview. Before coming to Jesuit, I attended St. Dominic and Christian Brothers. I entered Jesuit in the 8th grade, and I'm in the Track 1 accelerated program. Next year, I hope to attend the University of Georgia, the University of Texas, or Vanderbilt University to study business.
And my name is Juan Martinez. I come from a public school right next door to Jesuit, Esperanza. I live on New Orleans East at Chapman Tour Highway, so it takes me 2 bus rides and about an hour to get to and from Jesuit every day. I entered Jesuit as a 9th grader, and I am the regular college prep track. I am hoping to attend LSU or Spring Hill and earn a degree in engineering.
So y'all have an important decision to make. So y'all have an important decision to make, right? Where are you going to apply to high school next year? I chose Jesuit for many reasons. My dad and other family members came here, so I was fated to be a Blue Jay from the day I was born, and I'm proud to continue that family tradition. Also, I was attracted to Jesuit by its academic and co-curricular reputation, plus many of my friends were coming here. As soon as I got to Jesuit, I got involved, and that's made all the difference in the world. In 8th grade, I played basketball, and now I serve as the president of the senior class on the student council and as an executive board member in the National Honor Society. I'm involved in peer support, campus ministry, and the academic support program, and I'm also the vice president of the investment club.
I didn't do much my freshman year because I wanted to keep up academically. My sophomore year, I joined the chess team and the art club, and I attended more events like games, pep rallies, and open houses, club representative. My junior year, I was initiated into the Spanish National Honor Society, and I also joined the St. Peter Claver Club, which focuses on minority students here at Jesuit. I also joined the Urban Farming Club that taught me how to plant in urban environments like this mid-city area. This year, I am the president of the club, and I serve as my homeroom representative for student council. Along the way, I decided to honor those that have taught me by myself tutoring others at Operation Upgrade, Boys Hope and Girls Hope, and Good Shepherd School.
Now, I've learned a lot at Jesuit. I've learned about derivatives and the transduction of cell signals. I've learned about the 14th Amendment and Machiavelli's theory of government. I've learned about existentialism and transcendentalism. But the most important things I've learned here didn't come from my textbooks. See, at the end of last year, I learned a great life lesson. I was starting to consider how I wanted my senior year to be, and I was like, Harrison, you want it to be a carefree year, you want to have fun, just coast right on through to graduation, don't take on too many responsibilities. But when 2 teachers and a classmate asked me why I wasn't running for a student council position, I had only one answer. I was being selfish. I was more concerned about myself than in those around me. The more I thought about it, I remembered what I learned in retreat that year, that I was made to love and to serve those around me. So I answered the call to serve, to help make the 2015 school year as memorable and fulfilling for everyone as I possibly could. This is the best decision I've made since I got to Jesuit. In my work as the president of the senior class, I've learned that leading is serving, that true leaders use their God-given abilities to enhance the lives of those they serve. In my work, I've made and strengthened many friendships with other Blue Jays, and I've learned a ton about teamwork. I've had such a fun and fulfilling year because I'm doing what I was meant to do. I'm trying to be a man who considers others, and by this, to live AMDG for the greater glory of God.
I share my day here with more than 1,000 students. Jesuit is a big place, but I find it very comforting. We share the same uniform that all Blue Jays have worn for the past 80 years. We share the same rules and principles that have been developed since the school was established in 1847. We share the same Blue Jay spirit that has been passed on to us and that now we take care of. And this makes me feel secure. When I walk down the hall and a student nods at me and says hi, I get a sense of unity and belonging. When a teacher takes time to help me in a tough concept, I feel cared for. So to me, Jesuit is like a family, where your parents push you to do your best, and they're always there to help you succeed.
As I mentioned earlier, I didn't intend on being on the student council. I envisioned myself as a basketball player. Unfortunately, a major crisis in my life cut that dream short. See, at the end of my 8th grade year, I was diagnosed with cancer. It was a very aggressive, though very treatable form of cancer, but that meant that my treatment would be a whirlwind. I was called out of my Algebra 1 class on a Thursday morning, and by the next night, I had had 2 major surgeries and had begun chemotherapy. Jesuit was a huge calming influence during this crazy time. Some of my first visitors in the hospital were Mr. Skiro, my guidance counselor, Mr. Jambaluka, our former principal, and Father McGinn, our president. They came to show me their love and support and to let me know that the whole Blue Jay community was praying for me. Now, during this time, school was the last thing on my mind, but Jesuit was faced with a predicament. What do you do with a student who has to miss an entire quarter? Obviously, I couldn't be expected to keep up with the full workload, but at the same time, Jesuit knew they would be doing me a disservice by not teaching me anything, so they came up with a plan. I would be expected to learn the essentials of my materials, but they would be flexible in the way that would be taught. My teachers were amazing, and they went out of their way to help me during this time. You know, I can still see Mr. Levy, my Algebra 1 teacher, coming to my house in the middle of the summer, wearing latex gloves and a surgical mask to teach me an entire quarter of math in about 3 hours. Jesuit didn't just help me academically during this time, however. Ms. Catalano, my physical science teacher, organized all my classmates to send me a note while I was in the hospital, and I still have all of these notes in my room to this day. Mr. Skiro, my guidance counselor, would come to my house during the summer just to talk to me about any problems that I needed to discuss. Father Fitzgerald came to my house to simply chat in a gesture of love and support many times. I'll never forget what Jesuit did for me during this time, pushing me to be my best, but at the same time showing me so much compassion, flexibility, and support.
I want to end at the beginning. I want to share with you a story of how I made it into Jesuit. Now, some of you boys are 13, 12, right? Well, when I was 10, my family and I came from Mexico to be with our dad, who we had not seen for a long time. I didn't speak a word of English. My dad wrote a letter, note cards, explaining words like bathroom, baño, water, and agua, so the teacher could understand. I had a hard time. I was constantly dealing with bullying. And as you can see, I got some fat jokes too. The thing was, I didn't know what they meant at the time, so that was fine. My grades were bad. My family had to go through some economic problems, so we had to sell our house. And to make matters worse, the apartment we were living in was destroyed by a tornado. It was a really, really low point in my life. Then I decided to go to Esperanza, school that teaches and helps guys like me. I decided to go there because I didn't want to be depressed anymore. I didn't want to be down. I wanted to grow. I wanted to work hard, and I wanted to be a better me. So one day while driving to Esperanza, I asked my dad, what school was that next to Esperanza? And he said, that's Jesuit, one of the best schools in the city for very bright students. Then I stared at school for a second, and then I told him, Dad, I am going to that school. My dad smiled at me and said, son, our family will be very honored if you went there. Your mom and I will be very proud, and we will help you every step of the way. That was a really, really important day in my life. I will see the Jesuit students coming out of the Carrollton and Bank store, and I'll picture myself in their shoes. During my 6th and 7th grade year, I raised my grades up from C's and D's to straight A's and a couple of B's. I felt like I was ready. So in 7th grade, I applied to Jesuit. During my placement test, I was so nervous, almost as nervous as I am here standing talking to you. But at the same time, I was glad because I was finally going for what I had worked for so much. Then the big day arrived. The letter that will tell me if my hard work had paid off. I opened it. Dear friend, not dear Blue Jay, as I hoped. I didn't make it. I felt really bad, really, really bad. But then I thought to myself, Juan, you worked so hard for this. You can't just let it all go to waste. So during my 8th grade year, I was dedicated to making it into Jesuit. That resulted with straight A's. So I tried one more time. I took the test and I was just hoping to God that I had made it. The letter arrived. Dear Blue Jay, I made it. I was so happy. I was running around, half crying of joy. Then my dad came up to me and said, son, I knew you could do it.
We all come from different backgrounds. We all have different stories. We all take different paths to get to where we are today. For Juan and me, Jesuit High School has been a huge part of our journey to success. But tonight's about you and your journey. Perhaps Jesuit is the right journey, the right path for you too. Thank you.
Thank you for your consideration. Good luck with your decision. Thank you.